Welcome back, my friends, to another Week in the Life video. The purpose of these videos, the reason why I do them, is to give you an inside glimpse of exactly how I create a consistent income as a full-time trader. I do it very different than most other people. I'm not day trading. I'm not doing all these other little things to make that income. I'm actually selling options, and selling options gives me an extremely high win rate, and it gives me the best opportunity to bring in a consistent income very, very easily every single week as a full-time trader. And I've been doing this strategy for years and years and years, over 7 years as a full-time trader. And I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I do it in today's video, from setup, start, management, and finish of the trade, and show you how you can potentially do the exact same thing for yourself as well. So I'm so pumped to take you along with me for this week in the life and walk you through exactly what it looks like to be a full-time trader selling options. So right now is a really good place to look to get into this credit spread here. I believe we're about to get a pullback. This pullback might be all we need to win. So if you're able to get in on this spread, I think right now it is paying like 48 cents, 45 cents. Market's just opened and it is running pretty good on this bull gap up. And so what I did was sell a bear call spread just now. Just posted it over to my community as far away as I could. So I ended up selling a 0.05 delta, which means there's a 5% chance that this trade loses this week. I wanted to be really far out. Normally I'll sell a lot closer, but because this is the Fed interest rate decision week, I expect a lot of volatility. It could go very bullish. It could go very bearish. We'll see what happens. I kind of feel like this is all pricing in the rate cut. And when the rate cut comes, we're most likely going to finally start seeing some selling. That's just kind of how the markets normally react. But it can go very, very bullish for quite a while. And so, again, I went ahead and just sold the bear call spread right up here. If it just keeps on running, then I'll roll out of it. It's not going to be the end of the world. I can just keep a distance. And so the way that I trade, the way that I bring in a consistent income, every Monday, watch and see where the markets are not going to go. I look at this and see very, very extended, especially when we start looking at SPY here on like a 1 hour. Extremely overbought on RSI, really strong moves. I do believe that something like this is probably going to come in over the next trading days or so. But all I need is a little bit of a pullback and I'll win. But I see a lot of extension and everybody buying calls right now. So I want to be the seller of those calls. I want to sell calls and get paid money to do that. And so I got paid money to sell this spread. Now, I win as long as it stays below this line. If it looks like it's starting to get up above that line, I simply cancel this contract, cancel this trade, and sell one even further away. And so I'm always keeping a constant cushion and buffer between my sold strike and the price. And that's how I'm always winning on these. Extremely high win rate because the way that I set these things up and the way that I go about it. And so I believe that, yes, we could be running bullish, but we're probably going to get a little bit of a retest over the next trading day or two, and that's all I'll need to win on this. And then if I can get a little bit of a retest back down into the 10 EMA back through here, then I'm going to look at doing a bull put spread. So I'm kind of legging into an iron condor, so to say, of making money by saying where the markets are not going to go. And so when these markets pull back down, then it'd be time to go, okay, let's sell a bull put spread really far out of the money. These all expire this Friday, so there's not a ton of time left, right? The markets move on average a certain amount. It's different for every stock every day. So let's say this stock moves $50 a day on average. Well, if I sell something, $500 away and there's only 3 days until expiration, it's going to have to move well more than its expected move in order for it to get that $500 move in just 3 days. Does that make sense? And so the probabilities are in my favor that it's not going to make that big move, or at least make it consistently every single day. Can it do that? Yes. But it happens once every few years on average. It's not very often. So by the time I do finally take a loser, if I didn't roll out of it, I'm going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wins under my belt, and I can still mitigate that loss to make sure that I'm losing very, very small if the crazy thing happens. But this week is Fed interest rate decision week. It's going to be pretty crazy. It's going to be volatile. It's going to be all over the place. The markets are going to make moves that are going to be shocking people. it's going to be extremely crazy to trade. And this is where it's going to be so important to understand price action and realistically just sit back and not do anything. So yeah, I just posted this trade into our trading community to tell everyone like, hey, this is what I'm looking at doing. But honestly, the play is this week, the safe play is just to do nothing. I'm already well ahead of my goal for the month. We just had a massive win here on Tesla as well. Just took off half our profits on this thing. So that was really, really fun. Again, I just told my community here on that one. So yeah, we have the TSLL calls on that one. We just got filled on half of it at $5.15. So, I mean, that is a huge winning trade just in itself. We still have half the contracts out of that and going to continue to make money on the rest of those if Tesla continues to go, because I believe we're probably running up into 490, 500, somewhere through there. It just might take a week or two of chopping around first. And so I want to exit out of half, let it pull back down and run back up. My swing trading what I risk on my swing trades is $1,000. And so that's what we put our risk on this trade, and are currently up a couple 100% on that, which is awesome. So again, exited out of half. We're going to see if this thing will pull back, and we'll continue to make some more on this thing with the remaining amounts. But I'll also look to add in back some more size if we can get back into some more buying areas that make sense. And so I have other trades making me money. I didn't have to do anything for this week, but I feel like this is a very high probability play. Literally a 95% chance of making money on this. You can make trading hard or you can make trading easy. And I want to make trading as easy as possible. And so whenever I first started out doing this, I was day trading, I was doing all this stuff, and my P&L was up, down, and all over the place, and I was blowing up trading accounts. Then I discovered this easier way of trading by simply just saying, where's the stock not going to go? And I was like, all right, well, if I sell something up here and it only has a couple days to get there, which means it's going to have to make crazy parabolic moves. Could it happen? Yes, it could happen. But probability-wise, it's got a 95% chance that that won't happen. And so then I was like, well, I sell that thing. I got paid some money, enough money to pay my bills for the week on that one trade. And then I just give it a day or two and we win. And so it's like, that's how I decided to trade. Like once I discovered this, I was like, I'm never going back to anything else. This is my main go-to. And it's for all these years, for over 7 years of me trading full time, it's still been my main go-to every single week to pay my bills. And so if you want to learn this strategy and trade right alongside our community here and trade this live with me, every single week, I jump on live with my group. In fact, I'm about to jump on here in about an hour or so with my group and walk them through this exact trade and show you and teach you why I'm doing what I'm doing. I am not about following trading. I'm not about saying, hey, just do what I do. I'm about teaching you. I want you to know why you're doing something, because without knowledge of that, you're never going to succeed. If you're waiting on someone to tell you, hey, this is what you need to be doing, you're in trouble. You need to learn how to fish instead of having someone give you a fish, right? You need to understand how this all works so that you can do it on your own. You know what to do when it's working, when it's not working, and how to work your way out of it is the only way for long-term success. And so, yes, I tell everyone about my trades, but it's more for educational purposes. They follow along, they make money if they want. Great. But my goal is to teach you how to do this. And so that's why I run a live session every single Monday morning to set everyone up on this morning strategy trade. Now I have other strategies I do throughout the week, but this is my one strategy for consistent income to help you pay for the cost of this membership. And by the way, you get a 7-day free trial where you get access to everything. The live session right here with me, the trades, all the courses to teach you options, teach you credit spreads, the entire full course to teach you this strategy, all of it. It's all yours for free for 7 days. So come check out that link down below. You have nothing to lose. You can cancel from there, or you can stick around and trade with us and continue to make money and understand how I've been creating an income consistently for over 7 years. And not just me, but thousands of others over the last 7 years have been able to learn this strategy and have the same results. But understand how to do it. And that's why we do a live session. But then also later on today, I do a live mentor group over Zoom where everyone can come on and they can ask questions like, hey, what do you do with this strategy? Why would you do this? You know, I have a question on this. I'm having a hard time navigating my broker on that. You ask as many questions as you want to help you to learn this strategy effectively. And so that's why I do it. That's why I have it set up the way I do, because I don't want you to just follow me blindly. I want you to learn how to do this yourself so that you can go out there, change your life, and understand how easy it is to make income from clicking a button. So that's what we got going on right now. I do believe that we will be getting a pullback even from this little rant that we have going on. The markets are starting to reverse back a little bit. I don't need a whole lot. If they just pull back even into this little area today, I'm going to win on this credit spread. And that's what happened last week, right? If you check out last week's video, it was only a couple hours and we won and hit our goal for the entire week. If we can get a little bit of a pullback on today's candle here, then we're going to have that exact same situation come play out. If the bears will step in pretty hard, I'll sell another bull put spread really far out of the money, just really far down here, with the probabilities of the markets are not going to get there. And if they start break some of these levels, then I can always mitigate my risk, and I show you exactly how to do that. Because again, the downsides of credit spreads, there's so many upsides, but the downside is you lose a lot when you do lose. I found out how to mitigate risk, and that's how I've been in this game for so many years, is because most people don't. They just let them lose, and then they lose big. And yes, it undoes like a month's worth of wins if you do let them lose. And that's why I don't let them lose. I mitigate my risk to offset that, to lose as small as possible, so I get all the benefits of the 95% win rate and going 6 or 7 months without one losing trade and making a consistent income. And whenever it finally does go against me, I'm losing so small that it doesn't really matter. It's only undoing a couple winning trades out of my 200 winning trades in between my losses. And I'm very far profitable and very far into that green, whereas everyone else is taking 5 or 6 trades and then giving it all back. And another part of that is using price action to tell you when to get in and when not to. And you teach you all that in that strategy as well. So this is my game plan here this morning that I just wanted to walk you through of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Again, this week is very different with the Fed rate decision. Normally, I would have sold a credit spread a lot closer for a lot more money. This week, I'm selling it really far away. We sold the, let's see here, what did we sell? The 67.40 and then bought the 67.50 up here that expires in just a couple days. And so it has to get all the way up here. Now, I do have a monthly bear call spread that's getting a little bit close. I'm going to have to roll that soon. But this credit spread right here is the one that expires. Let me get this out of the way here. This credit spread right here is the one that expires in just a couple days, and it's got a long way to go for this to even start to lose. And so I feel like it's a very, very safe play. Let's just navigate this. My goal is to get out of the markets before Wednesday, and then we'll see what happens from the Fed interest rate decision. I personally think that we're going to see some selling come across that Fed rate decision, because all of this move right here has been pricing in that rate cut. So when people are like, it's going to be so bullish when he cuts rates, it's like, yes, but the markets are always months ahead of news. If it's in the news, it's in the markets, right? This entire move has been the market saying he's going to cut rates. So if he doesn't cut rates, you're going to see crazy selling, because now the markets have to rebalance themselves. If he does cut rates, everyone that's been buying down here like us, we're taking profits up through here and locking in our wins when everyone else is going to start buying and being like, now it's bullish. You're too late to the game. And so I could see the markets run up for a week or so after he cuts, but then it's going to fall apart, because now you have to start asking yourself the question, why did he cut? What is broken, right? We're already seeing the jobs numbers come through, and they're horrendous. The economy is really starting to feel the squeeze of these higher interest rates for so many years. And the markets are going to start to reflect that. They're going to see, why did we start to cut? Why did he cut rates? What's going on with this? What is he trying to fix? What is broken? And when that comes out, you're going to see a big reversal coming through on the markets. And so I do think that we will get a strong Santa rally out of this markets, but I would not be shocked at all to see a pullback into like 610 to even 600, maybe even 570 on SPY. I know this is the SPX, but it's going to be the same area here on SPY. So we could be getting another 5 or 6% pullback here before, maybe even an 8% pullback here before the markets see a Santa rally. And that's kind of what I'm expecting. Pull back in, buy it all back up, and then we rampage up through here for the end of the year. We'll see how it all plays out. Who knows? It's not my job to predict. It's my job to react and see what the markets are giving me. And if that does play out, I will be ready. We'll make a ton of money on the way down, and then we'll be ready to buy this dip and buy this thing back up through January as it runs through for the Santa rally. So that's what we've got going on at the moment right now. I do think that the market's going to start to pull back. If it can get back into this range here, I'm going to win, and then most likely look to do a bull put spread, because I think that this is getting ready for a bounce back up. And so I'm just playing this game of giving myself a huge cushion where if I'm right, I win right away. If I'm wrong, I'm still going to win. It's just going to take a day. That's a great way to trade, in my opinion. All right, finished our prep session here and then did a quick workout, and now it's time for lunch. So this is what I've got going on here for lunch. I've got a protein shake that I put through a creamy here, and
This is like my secret recipe. A little bit of coffee creamer, sweet coffee creamer, just a handful of these Ben & Jerry ice cream mix-ins. And so there's my protein shake, and it's just a pure ice cream. It's like my sweet tooth. I freaking love it. A little bit of pre-made chicken here, already prepped and done. And that's pretty much it. So now it's just time to take a look here at the markets. We're finally starting to get that pullback here a little bit now. So that's looking really good. If this can keep on pulling back into this range, we should be able to win on this credit spread today and then get into a bull put spread to see if this bounces. I believe this is most likely going to bounce, like I talked with my pre-market people here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at doing at the moment right now, is just eating some lunch. I'm going to watch some TV and just chill. Again, all done with my morning sessions here. And then just keep an eye out here for these markets to see if they are going to pull back a little bit lower or not. And then hopefully if we can get back into this 659 area, 658 area, somewhere in there, we should be able to win on this credit spread. And that'll be it for, again, another day. One more win. That'll be easy. And then look to get into a bull put spread to see if this will bounce for the next few days. Get out of that one for a win and then be done for the week. So let's see how it plays out.
Morning. Still doing my morning routine. I wanted to take you guys along with me for a little bit here. So most mornings I will get up and get here into the hot tub. That's been kind of the start of my day here and routine for a while. It just is a good way of waking myself up. It basically just allows me to make time to sit back and do nothing. And that's crucial. I feel like it's just so important to make time to just think and to not do anything, to not, have your phone by you, to not be doing anything else. Just think, just ponder, just think about what you're grateful for. Center yourself. Remember, trading is a direct relation of your emotional control. Your P&L is going to directly reflect your emotional control. And so most people don't even realize what their emotions are for the day because they won't take a second to even stop and think about it. So for me, every day I want to sit back and just ask myself, where am I at? How am I doing? And from there, I get an answer and figure out, I'm doing good, I'm doing bad. This is what I need to work on. This is where I need to, maybe I don't want to trade today because of this, or maybe I just need to be a little bit more aware of this, or do a little bit more mindset work before the markets open, etc. So that's my 2 little cents, is find something, find a quiet place, find something that's relaxing that you can do every day before the markets open up, to just do a quick self-reflection on where you're at for the day and what things are stressing you out. What do you need to do to work through that so that you can get yourself in the right mindset, so you're not figuring out all these big emotions when you're stuck in the middle of a trade with stress, and then you start making bad decisions and it starts going against you. So tip of the day, again, start it out. This is what I do. Go in the hot tub, read scriptures, just kind of get myself focused and get myself, put life into perspective. And that's always helped me to have the right mindset going into trading. Fed rate decision is about to be announced. So I just got done working out, made it back to the computer here, and now we just see what's going on. So a little update here. I am in some calls that I bought down through here, and I just bought some day trading puts. A lot of these calls are focused on a hedge against a move against my credit spreads that are well up above us. So if I pull this thing up here, I'll show you kind of what we got going on. So I've got a monthly credit spread all the way up here still. So we got a lot of ways to get there. And then I've also got a credit spread for this Friday that I sold with my group here on Monday. And that thing is all the way over here. So we got a lot of ways for the one that expires here in just a couple days. The one that expires in 14 days is a little bit closer, hence the day trading calls and a few swing trading calls out here as well, I forgot. Just to see what's going to happen, because this thing can just fall off a cliff. And that's why I have a couple protective puts for a day trade, because if this thing just pops and goes bearish, I've got puts enough to cover all of my calls, and my credit spreads are going to win, and so it's not going to hurt me. If this runs bullish, it should be a very strong bull run, and so if that happens, that should easily offset the loss of the puts. The puts are only like a couple $100, and that will allow me to make money, offset the loss of my credit spreads. And if it drops, my credit spreads all win, and I've offset the loss of the call. So I'm in a pretty good place as long as it moves. If this doesn't really move anywhere, okay, it's moving. If this doesn't really move anywhere, then that's the only way I'm really going to lose on this. And so far, it is popping really nicely. Calls are already up 60% right now. And I'm just going to keep an eye on that right now. So I want to see how strong this thing goes. There's a chance that it runs and then reverses hard. So I want to, that's normally what happened here on these Fed rate decisions. So I just want to keep an eye out for that. It's too early to tell. We got to let this candle close and see what it wants to do. There's a chance it's just going to go all the way up. I think, sorry, I'm talking very fast. There's a lot going on. I think 665 is a really good target for today if it can get there. But I just want to see how this thing plays out. If it starts to reverse back down, I'll probably start lightening some size on the calls. I'm in my puts. I'm pretty sure those are going to play out pretty nicely. So that's what we got going on right here. I'm not sure if he's, it seems to me like expecting 2 more rate cuts. 0.25 is what I think he cut it as. I believe this should be a pretty bearish event, but I have to be prepared, my friends. It's not about knowing what's going to happen, right? That's the reason why I've got bear call spreads out there. It's about protecting yourself in every scenario. Like, I'm okay if this thing runs bullish, and I am more than okay if this thing drops back bearish. So now it's just a matter of sitting back and just waiting to see what this thing does. So my credit spreads are going to be very, let me silence this. My credit spreads are going to be very happy if this continues to pull back lower now. So it's just a matter of what this thing does. If it rotates over, you're going to hear some orders getting filled. I will be winning on those credit spreads today because the volatility is going to suck right out of this, but it's too early to tell. We got to wait and see how this first 5-minute candle closes. Still 3 more minutes left. At the moment, it's not really as strong as I thought it would be. So again, we sold our credit spreads way out here and way up here. So we've got a long way to get to where they need to be. Again, this can still run. I'm not doing anything yet, just letting the market show me what it wants to do. But the one that expires this Friday is all the way up here. I mean, that one's pretty solid. I think that we're pretty set on that one. Now it's just a matter of where do we go? Are we going to run? If so, I would say around 665, it would be a really good profit target for my short-term calls here. That's where I believe it can go. I mean, we could be going to 670 if the bulls really want to come through. And if the bears step in, then I think that we are possibly going to 655, maybe even 650. And that's going to happen if Powell starts to speak here in 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so, if he starts to just change the narrative, right? So don't make decisions too quickly. I could exit these calls right now for a really nice win. I'm not going to quite yet. I'm just going to wait on these things and just see where it wants to go, and then I will navigate it from there. But at the moment, the bulls are stepping back in. That's what I wanted to wait and see. Are we going to go cranking higher? We're already on so many bull weeks in a row that it's probably going to get some type of reversal. I could see that reversing back around when Powell talks, but my job is not to guess what the market's going to do. My job was to set myself up with hedge calls in case it bounced and to be protected in case it dropped. It's bouncing. Looks like markets are really liking what they're seeing. We're at a big time resistance right now. Calls, the volatility is finally starting to drop out of these a little bit. So the calls are only up about 50% right now. I've got the 662 strike calls. That's basically where we're playing into. I bought these way out of the money, figuring we'd get a pretty big move. We got a minute left. Let's see if we can't get across this resistance. If not, there's a really good chance I'm going to go ahead and take profits on these day trading calls. I'm in swing trading calls to protect myself, and then see if it'll rotate back down, because that's what happens quite a bit. We'll get a run up, and then it will reverse and start to crash the other way. So 47 seconds here to see what happens at this previous high. I'll mark it with a line right there. This orange line is kind of what I'm watching. This is where the bulls struggled previously. This is where we're back at. It's made a big move. I want to see if this is going to squeeze through it and then start making its way to that 665 mark, or if we're going to get stuck here and then I'm going to start taking some profits. 5 seconds. It looks like it's trying to close pretty strong. That's a very strong close. So let's hold on to these calls for right now, and I just want to see what it does up through here. We have to be careful because this can flash down pretty quickly. And I'm just trying to leverage these as much as I possibly can to get as much money out of this, and then potentially see if this thing wants to fold back down. I might even go ahead and grab some puts here as well. Let's see here. Now that the volatility's kind of dropped off, we can grab the 660 puts. This would be about the place, my friends. You got to be buying these options before the big move comes, right? That's why I'm looking at I just want to see if the bulls are going to go screaming or not. I kind of feel like they might want to here. If they start reacting a little bit soft, what I'll do is I'll just buy a couple more puts instead of getting out of these calls. And if it runs bullish again, it's just taking money off my bottom line here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple more puts here, the 660 strike puts that expire today. I got filled on those ones. So I don't want to quite exit out of my calls yet because, I mean, they're up really big. I don't want to exit out of my calls yet. Remember, we bought those calls down here because it has a chance to keep on running. So what I did was I bought some puts up through here. So if this thing tanks, I'm basically just trading P&Ls, right? My puts now are going to make a ton of money. My calls are going to go back to break even, but now I'm going to switch that P&L with the puts. So if it runs, I'm going to lose money on the puts, but the max loss on those puts were, I think, like $450 or something like that. So it's not the end of the world. It's my calls are going to make $2,000. So instead of making $2,000, I'd make $1,600 on them if I let those puts completely expire worthless. Well, the thing is, volatility already dropped out of this, and I bought the puts up here. So even if it does run, I can still lose very, very small, which is nice. And so I'm in a really good place. I just need to make sure that these markets actually make some type of move here soon-ish. That's the only way I'd kind of get burned is if they don't move. But let's take a look at IWM. IWM finally popped up to its all-time high level. Finally. It's a great trade. Target hit on that one. That looks really, really good. So all-time highs for IWM now. We're also in Tesla. Tesla's looking like it wants to run, which is great. So we're going to keep that. Finding a lot of resistance. This is extended hours on. Came back up into this resistance area, finding a lot of traffic here. So the bulls are really struggling to get up above that. And if this reverses back down, it'll be heaven. It'll be such a big win for us if it'll do it. So far, we're at this support. Bulls should step in here. So strong closures down through that would mean some weakness. We'll see. If they start to give this back up, then there's a very high chance that this is all we have. Our credit spreads are going to win, and my day trades right now are going to continue to pay for themselves because of how we've been able to get into those things. So again, bought the day trade calls here. I paid a little bit for them because the premium was expensive, but this big of a move more than offset that. And then I bought some puts up here to help lock in those profits. So if it just reverses hard on me, those puts are going to make money. So that's kind of how I've navigated this. This is a wild time. I normally don't trade too many day trades like this unless there's a reason to. And I've been doing this strategy on the Fed rate decision for a long, long time. So they tend to work out pretty well. If we start going strong up above this with some strong closures above 662 here, then there's a good chance that I will go ahead and just close out of those puts that I just got into if I want to. Or I could just, again, let them ride. The calls will make way more than those puts can lose. It's just taking money off the bottom end there. So I would much rather buy puts here than to exit my calls. Because if I exit my calls, yeah, it pulled back, but I'm still up 40% on those calls right now. So I'd still have to pay a pretty big premium. Even if it came back to here, which would be my buying spot, it's still going to be way more than what I spent down here. So that allows me to be able to stay in the calls and catch the move if it wants to go. But buying those puts protects me if it goes down. So I don't, again, I'm just trading P&L for P&L, which is super nice. So puts are, again, offsetting what the calls are losing. So the puts are making more money than what the calls have lost, which is exactly what we wanted. And now it's just a matter of trying to figure out where this wants to go. We're back into the buying area. This is not great. And most of the time during these Fed rate decisions, it'll run. I mean, this was a big move, but it'll run even more than that. So there is a chance now that this is just going to fall off, which I've already got puts. Remember, I bought some puts here, and I just bought puts up here. So if this thing drops, we'll make a fortune on those things. Yes, I'm going to lose some money on the calls, but it'll pay out big time. We're back into the buying zone. So this is where our bulls should be. They're starting to work their way back in. Let's see if we can get a move up above this. We're probably going to have to wait for Powell to start speaking here, but navigated this really nicely. Now I just need to try to figure out which way I want to go with it. I would have liked to seen a stronger move from the bulls, a follow through. Of course, is a huge move, but on these Fed rate decisions, I would expect even more. So at the buying spot now, let's see if they can give us that more and get up to that 665, which should be pretty easily attainable. And that's what's making me think that there might be a rotation back bearish on this. With the rate cut coming through, it's normally, with this running up this high, this move was the rate cut move, right? And then once the rate cut actually happens, everyone's like, now we're bullish. I'm like, no, we've been bullish for 4 months. Now it's where everyone takes their profits and usually reverses the markets back down. And the selling tends to be pretty intense because everyone's trapped at the top. I don't know if that'll play out, but that's what makes the most sense to me. So kind of just watching for that at the moment. So now we just watch back and see what happens. If it continues to hang out in here, I'm going to start just taking profits on my puts, seeing if the bulls are going to bounce. If not, then I'll start working my way out of the calls. Really, though, I think we have to wait another 20 minutes for Powell to start to speak. And if he starts to speak and drive these markets lower, then we're gonna be paying out really nicely with the puts that we just bought up here. So now it would have, of course, it's hindsight so much easier. I could have locked in a big one on those calls up here. But what's more painful, right? Locking in a calls here and having it come back down to break even, which we're almost at, or getting out of the calls for a win and then seeing it run and me miss out on thousands of dollars. I would much rather do what I did here by staying in the calls to give myself that chance and then just spending a few $100s on puts to take care of myself. Because again, those puts are printing money right now. They're up 60%. So the puts are up 60%. My calls are back into break even again now. They're actually starting to lose now, but again, the puts have completely offset that. So that's a good play. Bulls are not stepping in where I think they should. I thought bulls would be here. Next level would be somewhere through here off of this 15-minute 10 EMA, which is this neon green line right here. And if they don't come in through there, we could start seeing some serious sellage. And the crazy thing is, there's not a ton of puts out there until we start getting into like 640, which is, it's not going to happen. I mean, if we went to 640 today, that's going to be, holy crap, that would be wild. But, yeah, I doubt that happens. But the option levels, there's nothing there until 640. It's actually a little bit crazy. Just flying all over the place. This is extremely bearish. So again, grabbing those puts off the top there could be a monster win. They're up 122% right now. Now it's just a matter of, can we get down into the 655 mark? If we can, that should be a pretty good place. If this thing starts to fall apart, realistically, I think 650 would make a lot of sense. And our mid on our credit spread is just about at target right now, which is fantastic with this selling. So that's fun. And then it's just, what will the bears do? There's still a very good chance that this can run. Again, I've already locked in some profits here on some puts. If this runs, I'm still in my calls, by the way. Bulls had their chance immediately taken out. Makes sense that we probably continue to fall, but it really just depends on what Powell says. So right here, you've just got to play it as best as you can. Navigate these markets as best as you can. I'm in calls. See if it runs. I'm in puts from up here. It has everything to do with your entry, right? If I bought puts here, I'm in trouble. I just paid a fortune for them, but I bought puts all the way up here when no one was really looking at it. I think it was like right here by the time I actually got the order in. So when it's running, no one's thinking about puts. I buy them for cheap. Now they're up 150% more than they were 5 minutes ago. So your location on your option entries mean everything. If you were to buy your calls up here, you're toast. But I bought my calls here. It helps a ton. And so now I'm in a place where it's like, I'm not going to be able to lose really today. It's either going to just have a big move down. Powell could come in and just rampage this thing up. But a little bit more of a lower move, and then I will be winning on my weekly credit spread. So that'll be some profits coming through, and then those day trading puts are it's gonna be 1,000% return on some day trade puts up here if this can drop. So wild times at the moment. So happy that I decided to lock in some puts, because I'm making way more money buying puts than I would have made on those calls right there, exiting them. And it took off the chance of it bouncing, and there's still a chance that it can bounce up here. So yeah, we're just going to keep playing it out and see what happens. All right, so a little update. The markets definitely have fallen off. We are crushing it on some puts. I'm going to go ahead and take profits here on one of them right now. Order filled. Boom, filled on that first one. And now what we want to see is, so we've already locked in a huge win. It's going to be green. What I want to see now is, can we get through this 655 level? This is a big options level. The markets are definitely rotating down. There's a chance that it goes screaming. As always, Fed direct decisions can do crazy crap. That's why I'm locking this in. But if we can break through 655, 650 is right around the corner. And that's going to just be, I mean, it'll be a month of a goal hit P&L wise in an hour. So I'm just waiting to see here what's going to happen with this. Just closed out of one of my puts that I bought up here. Again, it looks a little different because it's on this one that I bought it on right here. So if you all remember, we kind of broke out. I bought some puts right up here to offset my calls, reduce some call size up through here, and then I wish I would have added some more puts there. I did not do that because I didn't know which way this thing was going to go, but it was looking pretty bearish. And now it's just a matter of where can we get to. 655 will be a really good target for today. Again, that's basically our 10 EMA here on a daily. So if we can get down, it's actually sinking a little bit more. It's 654 now. If we can get down and through there, that would be a great place to be at. But hopefully it's starting to play out the way we think, which is buy the rumor, sell the event. And again, there's a lot to go. There's still an hour left in today's move, but it looks as though the markets could be pulling the rug out from people, pulling back. Now we'll see if the bulls can step back in around like 650 or 655. That would make sense for that to do that. But on a weekly time frame, this is a new all-time high, showing a lot of weakness, getting bears after getting a rate cut, which the market's been waiting on forever. And that's because they've been pricing in that rate cut for this entire move, right? And this is what messes up people so much in trading. They're like, but rate cut should be bullish. It's like, it is. The market's priced it in for the last 3 months, right? So you just don't be late to the party. Understand how the game is played. Like, ride this bull move. That's your rate cut. Now it's time to probably take profits and then see where this is going to go. I personally think there is a chance that we get like a 5 to 10% pullback going through mid-October-ish, and then it rampages for the rest of the year. So that's me personally. I'm just watching this. We got to get through 655 right here, and if we can do that and head on down to 650, that'll be my final profit-taking zone on these day trade puts. That is going to be a trade and a half right there. We're getting very, very extended on the way down here, though, so it doesn't have to continue to go. But, man, I'm up 200-something% right now. It's bouncing all over the place. My other bear call spread is about to hit target right now that I had set up for this Friday. That's the one that we talked about on Monday. So target is about to get hit on that. I'm surprised it hasn't hit target yet, which is kind of crazy with volatility right now. But I'm only 5 cents away from hitting target on that one, so that's going to be fun. And we've got our monthly credit spread, which is printing money right now. So keep on dropping, markets. Let's go. We're gonna pay for all of October's goals here, and it's still mid-September. I mean, we are way, way ahead of it. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Let's see what it does. I'll keep you in the loop. I've got a mentor group happening right now. Well, in about 15 minutes. We're coming into 655. It's gonna be a big, big level here. 250% now on these puts. If we can get to 650, it's gonna be like a 700 to 1,000% return on these puts if we can hold out that long. But yeah, this is such a great move. We played it to perfection. I'm going to end up losing some money on some of these calls, but again, the amount of money I'm making on the puts from up here more than pays for it. And it allowed me to be able to stay in the position just in case this ran like crazy, which very well could have happened to. It's a coin flip, right? So play the probabilities, my friends. All right, I'll keep it updated on what this thing does. I got to go jump off here to my next mentor group, going over some monthly credit spreads, and then we'll jump back in and see how the day played out. All right, what a wild day that we've had here. The bulls came in really strong. We ended up closing out of the rest of our day trade puts down through here when we started to hit that 10 EMA on a daily, and then it started to come in strong. Closed out of the rest of them. I still think there's a chance that the bears could rotate this thing back a little bit lower into 658 to 657 or lower. It could close extremely weak, but the good news is with this drop, we were able to win on our weekly credit spread like we were talking about. So here's everybody here getting posted and getting out on this thing. So got out at 0.10. I got filled on 0.15, and then everyone else started to get out as well at 0.25 as well through here. So this was basically, I mean, it was honestly a pretty easy trade. So again, we got in on this thing on Monday right here, and then just Wednesday ended up buying this thing back for a very, very cheap option capture. So worked our way through that. It was a lot of fun. Now it's just a matter of what happens from here. It's kind of a big old question mark. Bull stepped in hard at the 10 EMA, but we're extremely extended. And if at any point we start getting below that 654 mark, things can, we're going to see some serious selling on this. Sorry, guys, I can't talk. I haven't eaten food in 2 days, and I still have only had a little piece of a quiche right now. So my brain is ready for some food. I've been in front of this computer now for the last couple hours, but I'm just watching to see, this is where bulls should be at. Are we going to rotate back down to close the day out? So I just want to find out, how are we going to close today? What is it going to look like? Are we just going to be kind of a doji candle through here, which in my opinion is still pretty bullish with this lower wick coming in, hit the 10 EMA, a lot of buy the dipper stepping in. If the buy the dippers get taken out, it's going to drop. And we still have a lot more news coming out at the end of this week. And that's the nice thing with this strategy, is that I'm already out of it, right? Again, normally we're winning on these within about a day or two. Because we had volatility building so much going into the Fed decision, we had to hold it for today because Theta was not doing its job. It was getting offset by all the building volatility, which is normal. It's what happens every time we have the Fed rate decision. But selling a credit spread way up here, way out of them, I was even higher than that. And then just letting it play out with this Friday's expiration is such an easy strategy, because now I am out of the markets. Now I am done. Now I just get to sit back and I get to wait for sentiment. See what's going to happen. Let the bulls step in and say, hey, we're here. Or let the bears step in and say, hey, we're here. And then come Monday, I can get back into another setup and navigate these markets and find some easier wins. And so if you want to come trade this strategy with me this Monday and make some more money with us, everyone out there is making tons of money on this strategy with a 95% win rate. Come check out the link down below. Check out that 7-day free access to the All Access Pass, 7-day free trial. You get everything unlocked for 7 days. This full strategy, you get access to it, all the writings, all that stuff. You can have it for yourself. It's yours. And then access to our mentor groups that we teach that are live, access every single week on Monday, and then access to our live trading where I go on and set up the trade with you and help you navigate all the craziness. Again, we sold this one even further out of the money because we knew the Fed rate decision would be crazy. But yeah, come join us. And then I'm going to add a link down below as well. If you all would just like to learn a little bit more about credit spreads and how they work, I'm going to give you some free strategies. I'm going to give you some free courses on options on credit spreads to kind of give you a foundation of what they are, how to navigate them, what that looks like, how am I making money so easily on the markets. It'll all be there for free. So you can check out the link down below for that as well. So that's going to be it for today. I got to get some food because I can't even think. I'll see you guys. What's up, everyone? It's the end of the week now. I honestly haven't even left the house. I guess it's kind of typical right now for me, but especially with newborn babies. But I haven't really done a whole lot this week. There's not been a whole lot to show you this week. Right now, it is Friday. I am just kind of going over these markets and just getting myself ready for next week. So if I can prepare and I can pick up my levels and plan ahead, then I can just enjoy the weekend and get myself ready for Monday whenever I'm looking at my next real big trade setup. And so that's what I want to get myself prepared for and identified on the levels so that I can be a little bit more aware of what should happen where. So it's not my job to predict what's going to happen. I just want to be able to pick out levels and determine if this breaks, this would not be bullish. If this breaks, this would not be bearish. And so kind of bring you up along here real quick, so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. And so I love the 2-hour time frame, and I'm looking at higher lows. In my opinion, I feel like there is a really good chance that we are going to be making some bigger bull moves and retesting this 655 level probably next week. So if that's going to be the case, then there's a good chance I'll be doing a bull put spread next week on Monday. But if we start to rotate back down, which I think is a lower probability, but could happen based on the strength that's here, I just want to keep an eye out for 655. If 655 starts to break, then that tells me there's probably a lot more selling to happen, and I want to look at selling some bear call spreads probably for next Monday. And I'm just planning out my levels. Again, when I'm not in trades, I can clearly see things of what they are. To me, it feels like this is getting ready for a little bit more of a bull bounce and probably running all the way to 670. And so a bull put spread for next Monday would make a lot of sense. And you can see here, once I turn this on, you can see the trend lines that I'm kind of watching right here.
If we start breaking up above this trend line, I feel like that's going to be a good cue for this thing to start to run, and it could go a lot higher. It just depends on what it does at this key level here. And so that's basically it. I mean, that's what I'm looking at doing, is just planning ahead. That's all I want to sit back and just be ready on. So when my emotions are calm, I can just sit back and go, okay, this is what I planned out. This is what I was going to do. This is what I said I would do. And I can just follow it. If you're in the moment, things get really, really tough. So I don't have my mic next to me. If you're in the moment, things get really, really tough because emotions are there and you start having all these biases. It's much easier to plan ahead when you do not have a bias out there, when your emotions are not strong. You can just see the markets for what they clearly are. So that's what I'm doing. This is how I'm closing out the end of my week. Tonight, I will probably head out on a little afternoon date with my wife, bring the babies with me, go see some family. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. Over the next week, though, we have some Ryder Cup action coming along, so I'm going to spend a lot of time watching that and take you along a ride with me for that one as well. And then we also have a big Wings and Wheels where we rent out this event rents out the airport, and I'm invited to that. So we go and hang out with some of my supercar buddies and go drag race down the runways, and it's fun. So I'll take you along for that as well. That's in a week or two. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, I didn't really even leave the house this week. So nothing really else to show. Just a whole lot of trading in this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this. And please go check out the links down below. If you're new to credit spreads and want to learn about them, there's free courses. I'm giving it all out for free. I don't know how much longer I'll keep those courses for free, so jump on it. If you want my free credit spread strategy, a monthly strategy, click on that. It's a really awesome strategy. It's what I've been using since day one to pay my bills. I'm giving that away for free. If you want to come trade live with us and set this next trade up here on Monday, come join the All Access Pass and start your 7-day free trial where you can start making some money during the free trial. Access everything, all the courses, the live trading, the live instruction that I do every single Monday as well, where we meet as a mentor group. All of that's all included. So check that out. You have nothing to lose on that thing, and come make money with us and see how I create a consistent income every single week with a high win rate. Love you all. Thanks again for watching these. Please leave a comment down below of what you would like to see more of. If you're like, Tony, I love the charts. I want to see more of the lifestyle. I want to see this. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing on YouTube here, but I'm really proficient at trading, and I'll get better at this whole YouTube thing. But I love you all. Hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday.